Hello, here we are, part 3. It's a classic me, isn't it? We're just going into multiple digits. Do I mean digits? Numbers. I don't know what I mean. Anyway, here we are. So, we've painted the rose. Where's the rose we painted? Where is the rose we painted? Good start. Excellent start. Here we go. Here's the rose we've painted, okay? So we've got a nice purple rose. And now I am going to make some fabrics to go with that. So what I've done is, out of the kit, I've taken the rest of the fabric and torn this into pieces. You do get instructions for all of this, ladies and gents. So I've torn it into pieces and I've made it into sort of longer, thinner ones in case I want some long bits, some short, fatter ones. So I've got some more chunky bits. So I've sort of torn it up, and I've also just taken a bit of time to colour wash a couple of backgrounds for myself. So I've done them in the purple. I've done one in the purples, and I did this using, very much like we did the background of the rose, possibly a little bit more paint to water ratio, but still keeping it fairly light. And then I've blotted it off when it was wet with another of my pieces of fabric, which has given me a really nice light purple background. And I've done the same with the green. So I've done a piece of green background and I've blotted that off as well. So that's given me some nice fabrics to print on. I've got my original rose. I'm going to move him over there. And then I've got my stamps. So I did on the show do a full demonstration really of cutting one of these, so you could go back to the Hochanda Rewind and watch doing that. It's very, very simple to make these sorts of stamps. They're made out of foam board and craft foam, and you are simply making a positive and negative. They don't have to be complicated at all. I've got several here. I've got lots of hearts now because I was doing them to try and practice my timing for the demo. So I've got number 1 heart, number 2 heart, number 3 heart, baby heart. There's another baby heart somewhere, which absolutely classically I've lost. And then I've got the roses, which were on some of the pieces. These are all designs that you get with the kits. And I've got a nice leaf, which you also get with the kit, positive and not positive and negative. Positive and negative on that one, and a righty-lefty. Triple heart, double heart, spots, leaves, all sorts of things to go at. So you can make these as complex or as simple as you want to. They're just nice, easy ways to make your own designs and own patterns. And in terms of the kit for this one, you get the designs in there so you can just trace them out. I mean, they're never going to come out looking exactly the same because we all trace differently, we're all a bit inaccurate, we all cut differently, so you're still going to get your own designs. So let's start off on some white fabric. Let's get a square piece. Let's get an oblong piece. Let's get an oblong piece because that's what I seem to be getting. So here's a nice oblong piece of fabric. I've got my fabric paints from earlier. They're still here. They're drying off nicely, but I'm not bothered about that. So let's start with some green because I can see the green's still wet. So I'm going to find that nice fat brush. I'll just get myself a bit of kitchen towel, chaps. Here we are. Oh, slurp of coffee, I think. In my Betty's mug. Look at that. Look at that. The old Betty's mug. Oh, I love that place. And tragically, the Harrogate trip isn't happening now, so couldn't get enough people on that. So I wish I could understand. It was an expensive trip, but it means no Betty's for me, you know. So from a purely personal and utterly selfish point of view, but sad for that. Oh, I was just going to show you on this stamp, getting back to the demo and stopping feeling sorry for myself. This funky foam, you can actually put lines and marks on it just with a biro, and it will slightly indent it and give it a bit more patterning. So I've done dots on this heart and lines on the other side. We can compare and contrast that to the plain ones so you see the difference. But it would mean if you were doing leaves, you could put veins into them if you wanted to. I could add more detail onto the rose petals. I could, where I've got my very very random circles there, I could add more detail into those. You can do anything you want. It's lovely stuff to use. So fabric, paints, action. Let's start with old Mr. Plain Heart then. Anybody see what I did with the brush I just dried? Anybody seen the brush? Oh, brush! I didn't dry it and then put it back in. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Now look, come on. You need to just keep a bit of an eye on me there. That's not good enough. Yes, I did. Dried it and put it back in. Okay, so here we go. We've got some nice green paint here. So I'm just going to go with what I've got. I'm getting some off the palette and I'm just going to paint it really quickly and easily. onto this here heart. A green heart, I wonder what that means. Can't be that good. Well, I know, it could be a natural heart, couldn't it? You'll notice I get it all over my fingers as well. I do that with everything I do. Right, off we go. Can we see? Yes, here we go. So print number 1, and I'm doing negatives first, okay? So I've got a nice negative heart. And let's just compare and contrast that, as I said I would, with this one that I've put some lines on. So let's see how that one prints. And of course, Sod's Law says it will paint exactly the same as the one without lines on. Just to make me look stupid. But I'm quite used to that. I don't mind that. You'd be amazed how often that happens when you're demonstrating teaching with the best will in the world. You make a claim about something and it proves you completely wrong. Right, so we'll put one of those, and this should have a slightly different print. Well, you have to laugh, don't you? Because it has got a different print. Look, you can see it's got slight lines in. I maybe put too much paint on. We'll try that again. Look, come on, let's try it again. Or maybe I didn't press hard enough with my biro. Hard to know, isn't it? When it's all gone tits up. You see, and that's the kind of thing I was very careful not to say on Chanda Live TV. But I feel I can get away with on my own YouTube channel. Because if you're on here, you can... No, there's no logic to why I think it's acceptable on one and not on the other. We'll just have to put up with it. Right, here we go. Here we go, putting in another one of these. This is a lovely thing to do. Very, very personal designs. I mean, you can see even the way you apply the paint and things will be different person to person. Let's see if I can get a bit more of the lines off this one. May just be that I haven't indented it enough, in which case I will give it another indentation. But let's see. And if it does need another indentation, that's actually quite useful because then you can see, oh no, we've got a few lines on that, but even so, and that's a real duffer print, but that doesn't matter remotely. I am going to re-indent it, get ourselves a bit more. Just let me see what I've done with my biros there behind me. Right, here we go. So, I've got my stamp. I want to make some marks on it. So, you just take a biro and pressing firmly, chaps, firmly, make some lines or anything else you want to do. I could be doing wiggly lines. I mean, these are, well, I say straight-ish. Nothing is ever straight when I do it. These are straight-ish. Let's call them straight-ish, shall we? But I could make this a check in the background if I wanted to. I mean a check pattern, not a check like in a money check, or indeed a check like in a country from Czechoslovakia. I mean a check at... Shut up. Shut up, Hilary. Nobody needs to know that. Right, here we go. Here we go again. Right is something that I like to say, you know, when I'm kind of call to action. Right, good. I feel stamping maybe a 2-part video at this moment because I can see we're 7 minutes in and so far I haven't got that far. So let's speed up a bit. Let's get back to, let's get to my normal rate of stamping, which is actually quite fast. So the even one, well, even-ish. It's all in the way you print it. Oops, nearly got there. So let's try these spots. Let's try these stripes again. I think lovely Fi Bowman did, or it could be Fee Bowman. Are you Fee or Fi? Fi, surely. Did a wonderful foam stamp of a paint pot with brushes in, which she also did some engraving, and it was superb. So you can do these quite. I'll try and find that again and post it up on my page. Hey! What a difference a good indentation makes. Look, lovely stripy ones. She did an absolutely wonderfully detailed foam stamp, and my friend Heather also does amazing foam stamps. They can be very simple or quite complex, but the materials are cheap and they're very, very easy to make. So they're a lovely versatile thing. And actually they last a good long time. And if I could be bothered, I could seal all around the edge of this with, you know, a varnish or something. And in fact, if I just sealed around the foam board, you know, the front of it's whatchamacallit, you know what I mean? Waterproof. Job would be done. But as with everything with me, I'm just too impatient to get going, so it never happens. And I don't mind the fact that eventually they collapse. To be honest, in this house, they're as likely to get eaten by the dog as they are to collapse. So I don't worry about it. Oh, that one's wonky, but never mind. We like a bit of wonk, don't we? We like a bit of wonk. And you got... No, don't go there, Hilary. Don't go there. Just keep quiet, keep printing. Leave out any wonk jokes. They're not needed. Not needed at all. Right, so I'm just going to finish off this background here. You can see that even though this is on a white sheet, I'm getting a really nice rich covering. I've just done another green one. That's not what I meant to do, but never mind. We'll put that in those gaps. And I was going to do a stripy one for that gap. I am working here on some paper. I've got some nice cartridge paper down underneath actually, because this is going to give me some nice sheets of paper to use to make sketchbooks and things. As we discovered on the sketchbook course the other week, you see, we spent time actually making background papers, but you can as easily, when you're working, just have a nice piece of paper down in the background, use it for your off prints, and use it for, you see I'm getting nice hearts and things in it, and use it for your paint splashes, and you'll get some nice effects. So let's just do the top of that to fill in. Always do to the edges of your sheets of paper. This is, I'm so used to working on paper, this is actually fabric, to the edges of your fabric, because you might want that edge. That might be the very bit you want for your collage later, and it's really annoying when you haven't bothered going to the edges. Students that come will tell you I nag them about their edges. Always do your edges. Right, so we've got a nice, now I could leave it at that. I could do one piece and leave it like that, but let's put some purple in on those hearts, shall we? So rinse our brush. Best way to rinse acrylic off a brush, you can't see, I'm out of camera, in a jug of water, you can see it's not very clean, but bang it. Acrylic is a glue, and you need to just bang it out of the bristles. And although this will have a bit of green in it from the dirty water, that will be fine. Right, so let's go in with purple. Now my purple has dried up quite considerably here, so let's have a look what I can do in terms of getting some of it. I can get quite a deep purple. Is that what I want? Should we go with the deep purple? Let's go with the deep purple because we've got one. Right. So, oh, we've got the spotty heart here. I bet this isn't deeply indented enough either. And having said I bet it isn't, I bet it is. Does that make sense? You see? It does to me. Yeah, oh, and it is. It's lovely and spotty. Really liking that. Now, actually, I've done quite a neat bit of printing there. Sometimes, because I'm such a messy printer, I'll show you what I do. I actually put a bit round the edge as well and purposefully make a messy print, and that can look nice too. Let's do that here. So I'm rubbling it around a bit. Didn't print anything on the edge there, and I just missed the thing. But never mind, all of this is a good demonstration of absolutely nothing matters. Just get on with it. Now I do need to mix a bit more purple here. So I'm dabbing in red, so you can see. I've put red in. I'm going to add some of the blue. That's a very blue. Oh, that's a nice purple actually. Now we need some more white on this aero tray. In each kit you get 2 bottles of white. So you get twice the amount of white to every other colour because you will use most of it. And I mean that's true in any painting situation, to be honest with you. You're going to use more white than anything else and probably less black than anything else. Okay, so we'll put, there we are, nice purpley colour. And lots of it. And lots of it. Right, okay. So our spotty heart, let's try again for the dirty edge. Let's give it another bash, hey. Part of it might be I'm doing this with a great big sponge roller, so it's a bit messier. But let's see if I can just show you how you can use this. And I've put that down so straight. And wiggle it around. There we go. I can a little bit so that you get, there's not a lot. Let's be honest, there's not a lot. It's hard to be messy with the brush. But I'm liking that. So one day I'll do you a video of doing them with a brush. No, with a stamp. Goodness, thank goodness I didn't do this on Friday morning. It would have made us giggle, but I'm not sure it would have made me very popular. Well, I might have done. They might have loved it. They might have loved me just gibbering on. Right, here we go. Onto there. And you can see I'm getting a really nice double pattern going here now. So doing the top of this, just to go to the bottom. And again. And even though, when you watch the show, you'll see I lined this all up very carefully when I cut these stamps. They never match up. And I'm quite used to that. I don't mind that. Oh, lots on that. Look, we're getting a lot on my nice background sheet. Imagine what a lovely background for a sketchbook page that is going to be. That's another video. Right, let's do the positives of this. I'm liking that spotty one. I think that's rather cute actually. Nice little effect. Let's put in some plain ones in the plain ones. That was a very light and plain one. That's just because I didn't press very hard, because I did it with just one hand and was in a hurry. There we go. That's a better plain one. Okay. And that one. And that one. And that one. These are lovely as well. I mean, I'm making fabrics with them. I would also make papers. I would use them to take rubbings. What else would I do with them? I'd use them on the jelly plate. And I would use them in my sketchbooks. So very versatile things, these. And this is my, you know, it's not rocket science drawing a heart, but it is my own little heart here, and it's my own impression of it. So I've got this nice sheet of fabric like this now that's all patterned. Now if you want to add more to that, you can do. You can use the edges of these, can be quite nice. Let's just lighten that right up and put some down the edge of it, and you can then add some lines along here, which might be quite nice to separate them up if you want to. And you don't have to if you don't want to. And of course you don't have to do repeats like I've done there. I mean, I could do hours on the different patterns you could make. You know, if we do on the next sheet, we'll pick another stamp. Oops! Inked the wrong end, but never mind. Doesn't matter, does it? So we'll leave that like that. We've got some lines in, some lines not. Let's move on and let's do some different sorts of repeats, okay? So let's get this little rose stamp, okay? And we'll look at some different ways of repeats.